Hi and welcome to The Piece of Persistence. I'm your host, Abigail Wright, and as we approach the new year, I imagine many of us are tempted to form some New Year's resolutions, if we haven't already. The question is, will we be more tempted to break them than we are to make them? And, we've been reading Gretchen Rubin's Better Than Before, and in the book, she actually identifies 10 loopholes or excuses that we commonly make to get out of our good habits. I think it's incredibly useful. The idea is that as you recognize these loopholes, you can identify them when you're tempted for the excuses that they really are. And in her book, she again identifies 10 loopholes. We're only going to cover the top 3 here today that I think will affect you for your New Year's resolution. But I highly recommend that you go and get a copy of the book and look at all 10 loopholes because it's really huge to see the patterns that happen in the excuses that we make. The first of the 3 major loopholes, I think, that affect a New Year's resolution is the tomorrow loophole. And this is one I think a lot of us are going to recognize. The tomorrow loophole, I only have one more day of vacation. I'll start my diet tomorrow. I just got back from vacation. I need one more day to relax. I'm still unpacking from vacation. I'll deal with it tomorrow. And the days go on and on and on. And your tomorrow self never feels more like doing the things you don't want to do today. One of the things I often struggle with is taxes because I'm a freelance artist. So I have to keep track of all my receipts. And I often am telling myself, I'll deal with my receipts tomorrow. I'll start looking at my receipts tomorrow. And then months go by and I have many, many, many more mounds of receipts to reconcile. Whereas if I did it every single day as a habit, it would be much, much easier to tackle. One of the things I like to do when I see that my past self has done something to make my current life more manageable, I kind of pat myself on the back a little bit and say thanks past self. I know it's kind of silly, but when I think of my future self, I allow myself to foster the kind of habits that I really want to have in the long term to lead a fuller life. So I think it's a great idea rather than invoking this tomorrow loophole, to instead think of what your future self will thank you for. The second loophole we often find ourselves in during this season and as we try to create resolutions is the concern for others loophole. This is a real thing during the holidays when people seemingly push alcohol and food and parties on us and all sorts of things in an effort to show love. And that's wonderful. But don't forget, when you're trying to not seem judgy, or you don't want to make others uncomfortable, or you feel bad saying no, that people are your friends for a reason and that it's okay to say no. Peer pressure is a surprisingly real thing, not just when you're a teenager. But don't forget when you're trying to show concern for others that it's okay to show concern for yourself as well. My absolute favorite of the loopholes that Gretchen Rubin identifies is the 1 coin loophole. The idea is that if you have 1 coin, it's not going to make you wealthy. But if you stack 1 coin on top of each other, if you keep collecting those coins, eventually one day you could be rich. So this 1 coin actually has 2 sides. The first side of it is, of course, the excuses side, where you say, it's only one time. It doesn't count. I'm just gonna drink this one time. I'm just gonna skip going to the gym this one time. It's not gonna make a difference because my habit is strong. And so you make the excuse that one time won't matter. Although the other side of the coin is that those one times, as you keep stacking each of those 1 times on top of each other, they make a real difference and they make a real change in your life. So as you're thinking, okay, it's all right, I'll just binge my Netflix show today for 8 hours, it really won't matter. But you do that several times and eventually you have a habit of spending your time in maybe a way that you don't want to in your life. Zay Frank actually has a really, really great YouTube video about this where he takes a jelly bean and uses it to represent 1 hour of your life. And it shows as the jelly beans compile, they make shapes out of them to show how many hours in your life that you will spend watching TV, how many hours in your life that you will spend playing games like Candy Crush, or volunteering, or connecting with people you love. And it's really interesting to see the way that one priority, one time, can make a huge difference accumulated over a lifetime. So as you're creating those New Year's resolutions, keep in mind the one coin. Maybe this one time doesn't matter, or maybe it does. The truth is, life is short. So let's live it creating the kind of life and legacy that we really want to leave behind, whatever that may be. And I hope you have a wonderful and joyous and happy New Year. And in the meantime, please join us in 2 weeks on Friday on the Piece of Persistence. If you have a chance to take a second out and review us on IMDb, iTunes, or YouTube, all of those reviews go a really long way in helping people discover the show. And I'm so grateful for this year that we've had together, from the interviews to my surgery to really being able to focus on habits and motivation and all of the great things that make life worth living. I'm so grateful that you shared this year with me, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Have a wonderful, wonderful, and happy New Year.